Okay, but then let's then look at technology, right? And Mr. Kuhn, you mentioned something about technology, and I think technology is very important in terms of leapfrogging Africa's infrastructure, which is going to help then with connectivity. Can you speak then towards what technological advancements do exist in your capacity that can aid in the connectivity of intra-Africa travel from a technological perspective?
Well, I think the more pertinent question is how much time do you have?
We have 5 minutes.
Look, I think there are so many applications that these new technologies, particularly in the unmanned sector, there's so many bridges that they can gap. But what we must understand is, you know, there's many challenges with regards to rolling out things like eVTOLs and starting to use drones specifically for more things like cargo and passengers travel and all of these kind of things. We're certainly getting there, but it really requires, well, firstly from a financial perspective, it requires very good collaboration between public and private enterprises and organizations. And then secondly, operationally, a good understanding and a collaboration between the regulators and the guys that are actually developing the technology, and for the regulators to understand the technology and vice versa. So there are quite a lot of challenges that need to be set up in that, and Ms. Poppy had touched on it earlier. And in order for any of that to happen, there needs to be a regulatory framework in place long before these technological advancements just go crazy and we start investing a hell of a lot of money into it. If the framework or the foundation of the regulatory side is not there. Now in South Africa, for instance, our regulatory from the unmanned perspective, our regulatory situation is quite good, and I think that's often, we often talk about challenges, but we must often also feel quite proud about what we do have. South Africa, as our civil aviation, we were the first ones to promulgate regulations in Africa 10 years ago already, back in 2015. Since then, many other, well, between 11 and 15 other African countries have followed suit by promulgating regulations. But again, these regulations are very specific to our country and the operations that we conduct in our country. When we start saying, okay, listen, we want to start unlocking unmanned trade and cross-border transfers and so on, that's when we're going to need everybody on the same page, and that's when we're going to have alignment of the regulator. But that's certainly where technology can bridge the gap. And again, as an African continent, we've got lots to celebrate. I mean, drones are already being used for cargo, as the guys know in Rwanda and Kenya and Malawi, where, you know, they are using drones to deliver blood, where they're using drones to deliver malaria vaccines. So there's a lot of advancements that has been made in this particular space in the last 10 years, but I really feel that as a continent, we're really just scratching the surface. And there's still so much more that we can do. But again, the technology exists, AI exists, all of those things exist. We need to build a foundation first from a regulation point of view and from a public and private entity point of view.